trimester. It's open later trimester. Now we assume that before she already had ANs. Now, so we don't use all card unless there's some complaint that the woman, the patient felt. The general anamnesis consists of the HPNT, hari menstruasi terakhir, dan GPA history. GPA, semua udah tahu GPA? Well, that's what we're going to ask. Ini kehamilan berapa kak ya? Karena saya pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, jadi kita tetap harus biasain tanya pakai bahasa Indonesia. Jadi ibu, ini kehamilan berapa? Kehamilan keberapa tuh untuk mengetahui gravidomia. Kalau kemudian kita mau tahu partus sama abortus, we usually ask, ibu anaknya sudah berapa? Then we just match it. For example, it's the third pregnancy, tapi she only has one child, so we assume that she at least had one abortion, right? Jadi dengan tanya gitu kita udah menjawab GPA, so it's okay. Then we ask about the chronic disease that she might have. For example, the three important disease is diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease. Nah ini kita tanya, dia biasanya udah tahu, maksudnya kayak ini this kind of disease that already there before the pregnancy. Then we ask what kind of disease that might occur during the pregnancy. Misalnya kayak preeclampsia sama eclampsia. Those kind of disease occurs during the pregnancy, so we also ask that. Kalau misalnya udah tadi kita udah punya HPNT, nah kita tanya kayak tadi disebutin benar riwayat kelahiran sebelumnya. So are there any problems? So pakai cara apa? Sexual cesarean mungkin, atau misalnya kehamilan normal, apakah ada masalah? Bayinya mungkin di resuscitation, we ask that kind of questions. When that's done, we summarize and then we give informed consent. Jangan lupa 5 komponen informed consent. Alright, apa ya maksudnya? Tujuan, kemudian prosedur. Ya, risikonya, terus gimana kita mengurangi risiko, dan consent. Karena ini udah ANC sekian kali, we assume that you already know, right? So we can take it easy, right? Nah, kenapa memilih Hermawan? Nah, jadi kita mulai dari asking the patient to lie down. Misalkan ibu berbaring, tolong perutnya dibuka, terus she might or might not fold the leg. Tapi it's not, nggak harus gitu. Cuma if you think that it will help, then we should ask her to. Terus kira-kira kalau dia merasa nggak nyaman, bisa offer the blanket to cover the lower part of the body. She only needs to open the stomach, right? So this kind of mannequin is not actually accurate because it shows breast as well. But anyway, now the first examination that we've done is the Leopold exam, which consists of 4 Leopold, right? So now, Herman, show me first Leopold. Right? Yang dicari udah di situ. So what we search is that apa yang ada di atas the film, right? So but we usually use 2 hands, and yeah, this is actually good enough. We face the patient like this, just like this. Use 2 hands, and we search of what kind of structures is on the top of the on this. We usually want to find bottom. Bud, right? Which is described as a soft but round structure. That's the bud. Then, Leopold 2. Exactly. We go down like this, and then we want to find what is the which part is the back. It might be on the left, might be on the right, right? But usually, where will the back be? On the left or on the right? Left. Okay, exactly. The left of the mouth, right? So we usually find the back here. But there's something that you need to know about this kind of maneuvers that we use it not at once together, but switch hands, right? So while we push the other structure, we fill the other structure. Jadi jangan dua-duanya baru nanti sakit. Then after that, we find the presentation part, right? It's actually like that. So, salahnya Hermawan di ngelakuin ini apa? It's on the left side, right? Yeah. But it's okay. Gak apa-apa. Terus kalau misalnya udah, then we proceed to Leopold 4. Nah, kayak tadi yang ditunjukin titis, kita bisa ya Bu, kami akan membelakangi and we find whether or not the head is already
Engage.
or not. That's why convergence sama divergent ya. Jadi kita telusuri kalau misalnya ini bisa ketemu, berarti ya not engage ya. Kalau misalnya ada ketemu, so convergent ya. Nah, I don't know if you're going to use this kind of mannequin or not for the posture. Tapi it's actually there's a real baby inside, not real baby, but actual mannequin baby here. So I see. Ya, ini kan I guess ya, it's kinda around the right. So that's for the Leopold. Nice. Then after we're done with the Leopold, we're going to measure the fundal height. Right. When measuring the fundal height, we use this measuring tape. Mungkin kalian diajarin yang 3 kali terus rata-rata ya, but for the practical usage, twice is okay. Even one is okay usually, but yeah. Anyway, we use the inch part supaya nggak bias. Then we start from, I don't know, start dari sini. But anyway, ya, the point dari sini pubis sampai ke fundus. Nah, sebelumnya we measure berapa jari fundusnya ini dari processus xiphoideus. Usually it's around 3 fingers or 2 fingers. Then we measure the fundal height. Yes, they are around 33, 31.
Do we measure until here?
Well, it depends. Kalau misalnya ini yang dipompa, it might get until this part. Tapi karena ini nggak dipompa, the fundus ya, feel it, okay. The fundus is only on this part, right? Ini emang kelihatan kayak manekinnya segede ini, nah, kelihatan seolah segede ini, tapi sebenarnya fundusnya tuh di sini. Jadi kita open di sini. Nah, udah. Kalau misalnya udah, kita ingat aja angkanya. Kalau misalnya kalian kira-kira takut lupa, you write it down. But always remember to use the midline, right? Kayak ini. Nah, solid lah. Okay, then measure the janin. We use stethoscope. Titis bener, tadi hands free. Jadi kayak kita taruhnya di punggung kiri. Nah, bukan punggung kiri, tapi di punggung bayi. Imagine that if you can see the baby here, you put it approximately under the scapula. So I don't know, I just use the cheat sheet. So this is the baby, right? Scapula is around here. So I'm going to measure this part. So around this part. It is a bit troublesome for people with short stature, so I recommend using this. It helps. Then hands-free kan, taruh di sini. So why don't we use our hands? Karena yang satu megang arteri radialis, yang satu ledger, right? Dan kita di sini membelakangi pasien. Kenapa membelakangi pasien? I don't know the exact clinical reasoningnya. Tapi yang awkward. Ya, tapi yeah, that's a good question ya. Kenapa nggak kita pindah? Tapi, I don't know. Mungkin karena kanan lebih etis kayak biasa. Kalau ada di kiri ya kita pakai kiri. Yeah, that's the thing how to do it. Anyway, we measure it 1 minute. Nggak boleh setengah, nggak boleh seperempat. Terus it's normally 120 to 160. Oh, kenapa kita ngukur arteri radialis?
So that's not the right.
So we measure the right. I'm not sure about it can be used to determine final presentation and position. Tapi actually it's the opposite. Kalau kita tahu presentasi dan posisinya, baru kita bisa mengukur janin-janinnya. Right. So that's it. All the examination is the Leopold, the fundal height, and the janin. Then we ask the patient to go back to the table. Then we educate them. Follow up. Tapi kan you're going to use a lot of calculation, right? So kalian bilang aja, maaf bu, ini ada banyak hitungan, jadi tolong ibu menunggu sebentar while you're doing the calculation. So now let's head here. This is right, okay? Jadi umur kehamilan itu bisa diukur dari fundal height atau dari HPMT. You can, kamu bisa double check aja loh. Misalnya banyak pasien yang lupa kan kira-kira dia HPMT-nya kapan, tapi ya udah kita ukurnya dari fundal height. Tapi kalau misalnya dia ingat HPMT-nya kapan, ya use it to as double check. Anyway, this formula is for in month, right? In week.
Multiply by 4.
Yeah, it's by 4 exactly. Yeah, or the formula is
By 8 multiply by 8 guna 8.
ya 2 kali 4 kan 9 8.
Kali 4. 2 tuh. Dan times 4 kan. Because 1 has 4 weeks.
Tapi I basically assume that this is much more accurate. This is anyway, once we know the gestational age, we usually measure the berat badan. There's a lot of formula, and I would recommend you to memorize all of it if you can. But if you cannot, just time it by 100. Okay. So say it's, I don't know, 33 weeks. So I will assume that it will at least weigh. It's cheat sheet. I don't like this kind of examination, honestly. So I don't spend too much time memorizing stuff that I don't like.
It's not the fundal height.
No, it's not. It's the gestational age.
But we use the gestational age in week, not in month. 33 bulan.
Yeah, but it's just, if you can memorize it, that's much better. That's much better. There's a lot of formula. Or you can basically memorize the most common age. Usually it's around from 36 to 42. So just memorize on this week. Did I miss something? Right, no. So yeah, also on education, you tell her about the pergerakan kelahiran. It's a simple formula. Then you also tell her to maintain her nutrition, right? You can basically give the besi iron. Then alcohol for the besi.
No. 30 milligram.
Then after you're done, you tell her the follow-up. And this is okay, but usually we use 4 weeks. This is 26. Right. Then alternate every day. Kalau postpartum, we assume that she's already in the hospital, so it's okay. So that's it. All you need to do for us is do all these things in 10 minutes and you'll be fine.
10 minutes.
Any questions?
We do not tell them like avoid a hubungan intim until how many, at least how many weeks.
That's a good question,
And
but
then about the food lesson
what to eat and what to. Well, you can tell her to avoid organic, like simple thing like keeps everything organic, for example. But about the hubungan intim, I'm not sure.
The doctor said that the hubungan intim is
Yeah,
good because
it's good.
it provides the prostaglandin so that they
Oh,
will
it's
prepare
good.
ourselves
Yeah.
during delivery.
So, no kira-kira kapan idealnya berhubungan itu? I would assume not sekarang ya, not. Ya, nggak mungkin pas first trimester, second trimester?
Not in
No, no,
first
no.
trimester.
The third trimester.
Third trimester.
But do you know when?
How's
for the contraction? How contraction? Good. Shoot smoothly. Yeah, but yeah, I guess if the doctor says that, then that must be right. Any other questions?
So do you mention that to the patient?
Wow, good question. Yeah, I guess it helps, so yeah, you should. So, but yeah, maybe you can just tell her if the patient is already on the third trimester, but not nearly term, Jadi you can just tell her that ibu lebih baik ibu kalau sempat berhubungan sama suaminya, nanti yang bantu kontraksi soalnya.
I think it's better if you just say if you want to have intercourse,
Yeah, it's
you can
okay.
have it.
It's okay.
You can tell that, or maybe if there's also the husband, ya, you can just tell bapak ibu ini kita dapat itu. Sekarang tuh, jadi berdasarkan literatur terbaru, are there lectures that support this? Ya, ya. Tapi kita berasumsi kalau misalnya berhubungan intim pada trimester ketiga bisa membantu kontraksi waktu melahirkan. Jadi kalau ibu bapak ingin, silahkan.
What is RPS and RTK?
Itu ya. Riwayat penyakit salah is usually the complaints that occur during the pregnancy. Riwayat penyakit keluarga, I guess it's every kind of situation that could relate to the pregnancy. For example, twin history, right? Riwayat penyakit dahulu is basically chronic disease. So that's it. I don't know. Kalau misalnya abortus dalam keluarga, kira-kira bisa, does it affect the lady? It might affect, right? So we need to ask, apakah ada riwayat kesusahan melahirkan gitu.
Bingung kan?
Oke, ada pertanyaan? Kalau enggak, kalian biasanya gimana? Satu-satu terus kasih feedback atau langsung bebas atau bebas? Semua dapat ya? Semua orang? Wow, amazing.
Ini masih